The game of the week, and if you somehow missed that thing, here's a little reminder of how it ended.
1st and 10, they're at the 11-yard line. Play action fakes. Tua, blitz coming again. Quarter the end zone. Touchdown!
Wow, what a throw.
Matt Collins.
How about that drive by Tua Tagovailoa? Wow. Tua's got his name stamped on this one.
Good job, buddy. Hey, great job. Hey,
this is for you.
This is for you. No. Thank you. I appreciate you.
That's true.
Great drama in Arizona in the desert on Sunday. Well, week 10, this is now Tua versus another super talented youngster, fellow rookie Justin Herbert, or Herbo, as he's affectionately known. Now, if we know anything about Chargers games, it's going to be a roller coaster. It's going to be a heartbreaker. It's going to go down to the wire. But let's take a look at this year's class of first-round quarterbacks, gentlemen. Okay. The three that have taken the field, at least, we got Herbert, and we've got Tua, we've got Joe Burrow. They've all looked very impressive at moments. All of them now. I mean, we've only seen Tua a couple of times. Which of these three rookie quarterbacks would you want if you had to win one big game right now? I'll let you think about it, flag football coach over here, and I'll start with Nate.
Okay. I'm going with Joe Burrow. I feel like the young man has proven that he has nerves of steel. And it dates back to college. Of course, that's when we found how much we appreciated him in that amazing season where he was the Heisman winner. But even in this season, the ups and downs, getting beat up, he still bounces back. There's not a moment too big for him. And when I look at young quarterbacks, I've been in huddles with the young quarterbacks. I've seen them rattle. I've seen the whites of their eyes. I've had a quarterback one time cough his way through calling a play because he just got hit and he didn't know where he was at. Not because he was shook up, because emotionally he was distraught, which for me just marks that you're not ready for the moment. Joe Burrow, there's always a moment that he wants to capture. And after he talks during his post-game conferences, he's always so calm, so reserved, so concise with his point. I remember them talking to him recently. He said, well, I mean, I could be excited, but we should be, 5-1, 6-1, whatever it is. We lost a lot of games that we should have won. That doesn't sound like a rookie that just wants to get through the season. That sounds like a rookie that wants to take over the game and is ready for every moment.
Burrow's great. If I want a guy to win a game, I'm going to go with the only guy who hasn't lost one yet. Give me Tua Tagovailoa. You want cool, calm, collected? It doesn't get any better than that. I know we have a small sample size. I don't care. He has not thrown an interception either of these games. Can you imagine the moment you're sitting there at halftime and Nick Saban comes up to you and says, hey, kid, you're going in. To start the second half, yes, get in there, little guy. He goes in. It was one of the most legendary off-the-bench performances we've ever seen. Granted, in college, but if you speak to his DNA and his pulse not bouncing, there's nothing there. I still think the best is yet to come for Tua. One game, give it to me. I'll take a ride on it.
Kyle, one game. Who am I going with? I'm going with Tua.
Nick Foles?
I'm going with Tua.
I'm
going with Tua. Nick Foles. No, he's not a rookie, Nate.
I know, it's a joke. You love
I'm
Nick. You do like
going
Nick
with
Foles.
Tua also. I would probably go to
You did
Foles.
with Joe Louis that.
I love that. Tua, because you could throw the kitchen sink at him, and like you just said, like it's not, okay, let's go. One game. I don't have to worry about his injuries. I don't have to worry about him over the long span of time of him getting knocked around, being undersized. I don't have to worry about anything. One game, and I saw it on Sunday. I mean, Burrow's won incredible performances. I mean, he's beaten Tennessee. He's played really well. But they were losing on the road to a really good Arizona team, and they're like, take the ball, rookie, and he just marches down the field. 2 amazing runs, then the pass. Small sample size, of course.
Very
but
small.
One game, I'll go with Tua. That guy, he does not ever get phased and comes out with W's at the end.
I love seeing all these quarterbacks have success, guys. They've combined for 36 total touchdowns to just 10 interceptions. That is absolutely ridiculous. Last time we saw that sort of clip was 2012. Andrew Luck, Russell Wilson, and RG3, all rookies who led their teams to the playoffs that year, by the way. Now, which of these quarterbacks, the three that we just talked about, would you take, Nate, for the next 10 years?
Yeah, quick response to these guys for picking Tua on the sample size. So you're saying you're walking through the grocery store, and that old lady with the net, she's like, so would you like this wiener wrapped with a little bit of bacon?
Yes.
You eat one sample, and you're like, so where's the box at? I want the whole thing. You just want one sample size, you're buying the whole box and bowl.
Because I also tried it when they were down at the dollar store before it came up to the big store, and that was the Tuscaloosa one, and I will take that. Yes, I'll take the...
You also take a lap and then change your outfit and get another sample?
Yes, I just eat off the shelf, Nate.
Kyle, we know you eat off the shelf.
We know.
Okay. All right.
Still?
All day.
Let's go with a guy who's eating on the field. 10 years? Justin Herbert.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm a sucker for a big body with a big arm.
Okay.
You know, the simple fact that he has that that frame that you want that I know is going to last. And listen, I don't want to be hesitant and say that it's because Tua's banged up, but it's something that you have to think about for 10 years. And then Joe Burrow, he's in Cincinnati. You hope things are going to get better before they get worse, but it is Cincinnati. I seen Carson Palmer, who was a Cincinnati legend, say, enough of Cincinnati.
Yeah,
so there's these elements.
That's fair, Nate.
There's some elements to picking Burrow or picking Tua. I know that Justin Herbert, big body, big arm, the way he's throwing the ball, and that should have been a touchdown to Parham. 2 beautiful rocks to try to win the game. 10 years, I'm going with Justin Herbert.
I think it's fascinating because if we had that conversation with the 3 names you mentioned, Luck and Russell Wilson, RG3, there'd be a lot of action on RG3. Ooh. I mean, that was really hard to resist.
You ain't lying.
Didn't work out mostly because of injuries. I'm going Tua the next 10 years. I'm going Tua again. I'll get into practical reasons. I like the Dolphins' draft picks moving forward. We're going to support this young man. We're going to get some linemen. We're going to get some more defenders. I like Brian Flores. I like him a lot. I like his style. I like his pedigree. I like everything about him. And did I mention that Tua's pulse doesn't bounce? 10 years, I will take it. Wave of the future, guys. I wouldn't have taken him in the 90s. I wouldn't have taken him 10 years ago. Too small. It's not right for the league.
Left-handed.
Now, all that stuff. I will take him now. I think we're getting a look at the future. I think there's a little Kyler. I think there's a little Russell Wilson. I think there's a little Mahomes. I'll take all of it. Give me Tua.
There's a little breeze.
There's some breeze.
You look at the, the presence and the accuracy. This kid throws the ball amazingly well. I'll take the third option, and I would be glad to do it. Give me Joe Burrow. I love what he's already building in Cincinnati, a team that has been one of the most embarrassing franchises the last few years as far as production on the field goes, and now they're one of the most exciting. This is the bare minimum we're getting from Burrow because the offensive line has struggled early on in the season. They're just getting to know each other. He had no offseason, no training camp, nothing. And he's already looking like a Pro Bowl quarterback. Joe Burrow, to me, is a franchise face and a fixture, and I love Herbert and I love Tua.
Peter, do you not wince at all to Nate's point? Organizationally, Cincinnati has not been great. You're going to trust for 10 years in the Cincinnati Bengals. Forget Burrow for a second. He can play. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, and that's fair. Andy Dalton went to 5 playoffs with the Bengals. It's not like this is a team that hasn't. I think the Dolphins.
And Andy Dalton's not there anymore.
Yeah, well, of course he's not there anymore. They've got Burrow. And the Dolphins and the Chargers have not exactly been raising up banners the last few decades.
We've seen some great players in Bengals uniforms, and those stripes looks like it's like they're imprisoned by the organization or the lack of.
The Dolphins have been to the playoffs twice since 2012, and the Chargers seem to lose every time on an NFL.
The energy surrounding the Cincinnati Bengals. You know that.
Hey,
you know that.
Energy around the Chargers right now? How do you think Justin Herbert's psyche is going to be the next 5 years if this happens every week?
I'm not taking a shot at your pick. Joe Burrow's a beast. I'm talking about the perception of what the Cincinnati Bengals are. I'm just saying sometimes these players seem more exhausted than they do charged up. I've seen great Carson Palmer, T.J. Mazzata, Chad Ochocinco, and I'm not saying they were saints. I'm just saying that at one point they were all barking that they wanted to leave. I like your pick. And another thing you didn't mention, I'm going to sip this tea because T. Higgins, that combination right there. Well, long-lasting.
I would argue Chad Ochocinco had an amazing career with the Bengals.
No, I want to see these guys retire Bengals. It just seems like they never can keep their superstars around.
That is a long-winded wrap around the lap to get to a point of me saying, I think Burrow changes all that. I think Burrow is the change. He's
that's
the
a
catalyst,
great point.
And I'll roll with him over the other two.
Point.
But you cannot go wrong.
Great point, Schrags at GMFB with your thoughts. Let's bring in the rap sheet, shall we? Ian Rappaport joining us. Yesterday, Garofalo was talking about the owners and some voting going on to approve a contingency plan for the playoffs. Can you give us any details on that today?
There were 2 interesting things, actually, Kay. 2 interesting measures that the owners approved yesterday during a virtual owners meeting. We'll start with the one you mentioned first. The owners approved a plan to expand the playoffs from 14 teams to 16 teams if, and only if, this is a contingency plan, that's important here, only if meaningful games are lost due to the coronavirus pandemic. This is not the goal. The first goal, finish the season on schedule, as scheduled. The second thing, if games need to be canceled, add a week 18. That's the next step. If all else fails, this is what they would do, and this is what they approved yesterday, expanding the playoffs to 16 teams. They would not reseed in this plan. This is basically just to make sure that everyone who may have had a chance at the playoffs does have a chance if games are canceled. The other thing that the owners approved yesterday, the other measure, was to reward teams for developing minority head coaches and general managers inside their organization. Basically, the way it works here is if you have a minority assistant coach who becomes a head coach elsewhere or a minority executive who becomes a general manager elsewhere, you get 2 third-round compensatory picks for developing them. If you lose both, a coach and a GM, to another franchise, you get 3 compensatory picks. So rather than penalizing teams that decide to not consider good qualified minority candidates, what the NFL and the owners decided to do is reward teams for developing them. And what, as Troy Vincent said, the goal here is to make minority coaches, minority candidates, and women much more mobile in the NFL landscape.
We appreciate that. I know Steve White.